Going live. Going live. We are now live, I believe.
Possibly, maybe.
Oh, hello everyone.
I mean, I just got a YouTube notification saying that we're live, so I'll presume we're live.
Oh, that's good. Yep. Excellent. Yes. YouTube. Well, yes, we are live. Hello everyone. Well, I need to move the mic, firstly. Hang on a sec.
Are you going to mute it first?
No. I'll just be really careful with it.
Bangs mug.
I'll just wave it around in the air for a bit. If I put that there, does that block the camera horribly?
No, it's fine.
Good.
It's no less of a problem than this.
Yeah, which is just... There's nothing we can really do about that, so fine. YouTube automatically started the video for once. Oh, good, yes. Hello everyone. Forewarning, I went to bed at 3 a.m. last night. I'm very tired. And as soon as I say that, there's going to be some people in the chat that are just like, oh, that's cute, old man. And I'm just like, yeah, I can't do 3 a.m. beds, man. I'm tired. Anyway, hello everyone. How are you all doing?
It's awful.
It is. Let's see. Rosen Glasscastle is excited to watch two guys punishing e-waste. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. While listening to Christmas music. Oh no, that's terrible, man. You've lost me. But yes. Hello, Jonathan. Hello, Pete. And hello, Noldy, as in Postal, and all the other people as well. You're getting old and ciderless. This is true. This is very true. This will all be over by 4:30. Maybe. What was I doing at 3 a.m.? I was watching a friend playing Undertale for the first time and having a really good time. However, it got around to 3 a.m. and I'm just like, it's really late. It's time to stop. And everyone's just like, yeah, we'll play more of this another time. So
it's time to stop.
Yeah. Well, we had the date with Papyrus and it was very exciting. And after that, and the excitement with Undying, and it was all too much, man. Right. Okay. Yes. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. I've got more e-waste and stuff. So we're gonna chat. I'm just gonna look at this stuff. I don't know if we're actually gonna fix anything this afternoon. I was just talking to Caradog about it, and basically the plan this afternoon is just to look at a bunch of stuff that I've got here. Some of this stuff is brought in by clients. Some of it was sent in by viewers, and it's just a matter of just looking at stuff and going. Pretty much all of it doesn't work to my knowledge, but it's a case of plugging it in and going, what's wrong with this? And are we going to bother trying to fix this? These DSs, I have no idea what's wrong with them. So we're going to try and turn them on and just be like, what do we do with these? Do they just need new batteries or what? If so, we'll order some new batteries. And oh yes, the PS. We'll plug in the PS3 as well. Can you cut the legs off Caradog's chair? Joke's on you, it has only a single leg. So yeah. Anyone watch Tech Ingredients making hard cider for Halloween video yet? I have not. Microsoft becoming the most valuable company on Earth.
To whom?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is this the stock?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, well,
is this based off of stock price?
Probably. I mean, at any given time.
So I'm wondering why their stock price has gone up so much. Then I guess because I've not seen any announcements of any new product or anything specifically. So
I mean, at any given time, the most valuable company is going to be one of the big three techs. It's going to be It's going to be Alphabet or Amazon or Microsoft or one of them, isn't it? So
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a case of why.
Yeah. DS is pretty complicated. I've done DSs before, I think. I've replaced screens on them anyway. But yeah. But well, yeah, Microsoft have probably had a lot of success lately with the new Xbox coming out and their general strategy for that. It seems to me like the Xbox One, the Series X and S, I think has had a far more successful launch than... I want to say it's had a more successful launch than the PlayStation 5, just simply because people actually have Series X's and are enjoying them. Whereas
I don't know. The PlayStation 5 sold 13 million units.
Yeah.
I think the combined Xbox sales are like 6.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case of
The PlayStation,
based on volume sold, the PlayStation is a significantly better proposition on that.
yeah.
So
It's just the problem with the PlayStation 5 is I mean, it's getting there now, but as far as I know, a lot of people who've bought one have just been like, sort of, yeah, there's nothing really utilizing it in any meaningful way yet. But of course, that yet being the critical term there.
yeah, I mean, there's like
Hasn't the PS5 overtaken the Switch?
Yeah.
Ooh, really?
yeah, PS5's overtaking the Switch.
Wow. Yeah, I'm surprised at that because I thought the Switch was everyone's sort of darling to that extent. Because, yeah, fair enough. I'll probably explain why. It'll probably explain why why the sales figures are so high in that case. But then again, the PS4 was wildly more successful than the Xbox anyway, as well, wasn't it? So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think to a degree, Microsoft's not that bothered.
Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah, again, everyone laughed at that Microsoft dude who said we're not competing with Sony, but it's a case of he was bang on the money. It's just that's literally not what Microsoft's strategy is.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was one of those. It was a very good point which everyone completely misunderstood. So yeah,
Absolutely. Although if we're talking about good financial quarters, have you seen AMD's?
No. Is it approximately very good?
Yes. So I will. I'm just grabbing some numbers.
Let me hit you with some numbers.
Yes. So Q3 2021. This is the gap analysis financial results. So these are the full results.
Yeah.
Revenue $4.3 billion.
That's a lot of billions.
Yeah, compared to Q3 2020, which was 2.8.
Wow. Yeah.
So year over year, it's 54% up.
Yeah.
Their operating income is 948 million, an increase from Q3 2020, which was 449 million. So it's gone up 111%.
Wow. That's big expansion. Yeah. And also, those previous Q3 2020, that's when Ryzen 3000 was already out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's because Ryzen 3000 was considered to be a complete success as it is.
Yeah.
So that further expansion after the success of Ryzen 3000 as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty impressive. If that had been results for the Ryzen 1000 and 2000 era, I'm just like, yeah, okay, well, that wasn't a massive hit. That was just, it was good and significant, but didn't change anyone's world. But yeah, that's with Ryzen 3000 taken into account as well. So that's very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they've had an absolutely incredible jump. 'Cause their net income for Q3 2021 compared to Q3 2020 is up 137%. It's gone from 390 million to 923 million.
That's a lot. That's a lot, man.
So
that's very good.
Yeah.
And
their quarter earnings, so their income this quarter 2021 is higher than their annual earnings for 2016.
Damn.
And
yeah.
It's just like,
yeah,
they're doing well.
Yes, and this is excellent as well because I'm very excited. I'm just going to quickly just cut in, just say Antonio, who upgraded from an FX 4300 to a second-hand 1800X. Nice upgrade. Glad that went well for you, man. That's a very nice jump. Good stuff, man. I think it's kind of interesting with Alder Lake having just come out and being a different kind of animal to Ryzen. It's kind of exciting to see Intel not just simply trying to go head-to-head with AMD, but actually trying to push a new idea in the desktop space. Although I'm still very interested to see how that pans out, because having efficiency cores in a mobile device where you're on battery power is kind of a no-brainer. However, on a desktop, I'm just like, no one really cares about efficiency on a desktop. But on the other hand, it's kind of a case of, imagine if your desktop computer was idling at 5 or 10 watts at the wall. That'd be pretty heckin' cool, especially if it could be doing like 5 or 10 watts at the wall while you watch YouTube and read your emails as well. That would be so. Like initially, I was, with Alder Lake, I was like, I don't care about Alder Lake desktop. I'm more interested in Alder Lake mobile. But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm just like, that's actually really cool. I hope that goes very well.
Yeah.
So
Oh, absolutely. But it's also the case of those efficiency cores have the same first party reported, but same performance as Skylake cores. So 6th gen performance cores, quote unquote.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's kind of a case that if that's what you're looking at for the efficiency side, the vast majority of people could run purely on those cores and probably not notice a difference in their day to day anyway.
Yeah,
and you could have like a 3E1P setup is like the Intel Celeron, and no one could tell. Yeah. So
I'm looking forward to seeing the performance numbers. I'm a bit like a lot of people. I'm kind of disappointed to see the fact that Intel have kept all the reviews embargoed until after the release, and review embargoes that lift on release are really annoying because like video games are notorious for this now as well. I'm just like, let people review your stuff pre-release. Linus had this big old rant, but it's a case of if you've got any faith in your product, you should have no fear of people looking at it before release. And if you won't let people release review data until after the release, that basically says I don't believe in my product. So that doesn't necessarily mean the product is going to be bad, but it says that you don't believe in your product, and it's just like, come on, man, it's annoying, So
or at the very least, it can be sold in that way. Yeah, the story can be spun in that way that you have no confidence in it.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're trying to hide the bad news until after people have already bought it.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with Alder Lake. I don't know yet. I haven't looked at. I mean, are the performance reviews up yet? Because the announcements are all up.
No, the reviews can't come out until the 4th because that's when the product stops being pre-order, I think.
Oh, we still pre-order, yeah. I wasn't sure if it was actually available for sale because I keep seeing prices and links on websites or pictures of links on websites, but I haven't actually been checking to see if you can literally go and buy one yet.
I don't think so. So I'll see what scans say.
Yeah. Intel don't want LTT and Gamers Nexus to steal the spotlight. What? They don't want them to promote their new CPUs? Just yeah. I don't know. Gamers Nexus's usual snark was incredible. Where at the end of the Gamers Nexus video, Steve was just like, because Intel have actually released benchmarks for their CPU this time round. And Gamers Nexus were like, Intel has spent years dismissing everyone else's benchmarks, so we're going to dismiss theirs until we do our own. And it's just like, oof. Big oof. And yes, hello Treb, and also hello Rising Glass again. And yes, I got a Buildzoid t-shirt. So yes, big ups to actually hardcore overclocking. I don't watch all of Buildzoid's videos, but I was watching a couple of his videos on the 3090, and again, it's a case of like, regardless of how accessible the content is and stuff like that, Buildzoid is doing God's work. And I was just like, you know what, I'm going to go and buy a Buildzoid t-shirt because that's a great way to support a creator, is to go and buy one of their t-shirts. So I bought a Buildzoid t-shirt because also like I looked at it and I was like, that's really cool. It's VRM stages and the back one's blowing up, and I think that's cool. So
yeah. Due 4th of November.
4th of November. Oh yeah. When's that? That's Tuesday or something, isn't it? Thursday. Oh, yeah. Thursday release, kind of odd, but sure. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I still think the hot product in that is going to be the the i5 12600.
That seems to be.
I think that's going to be the hot product.
That's Gamers Nexus's prediction as well, because apparently the music's still a bit high. I'll just notch that down slightly, because Yeah, Gamers Nexus, I reckon that is going to be relevant for competing with the 5600X at a lower price. Because, yeah, we kind of need that, really. We need a 5600X competitor at a lower price. We want a 5600X. I mean, but the problem is I'm seeing, is that 270 for that i5 there?
Yeah, 270 and 290, depending on which.
You can get a 5600X at that price, though. So, yeah, they're going to have to, it's going to have to be spectacular.
Right,
because 50, yeah, I was under the impression that
from scan 280 quid.
Yeah, because I was under the impression that i5 was going to be targeting, or maybe maybe Gamers Next were looking for the 12400F, which theoretically should be the 5600X competitor, and I think the intention was that would be somewhere between like £200-250, or well, probably dollars, because it's more or less dollars to pounds equivalent, isn't it? So yeah, because ideally we're looking for something with the performance of a 5600X or competing with at 200-250, preferably closer to the 200 mark, I think. But yeah, because there's not much in that sector at the moment.
I just find that hard to believe as a price target right now, given the issue with supply for literally everything.
Yeah, that's true. I think,
and also the fact of obviously basically every major port being backed up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case of, with all of that, I'm just kind of going, I don't know if that price is particularly attainable given all of the other costs and how high those other costs are compared to previous years and previous launches.
To an extent, we've still got our heads back in pre-COVID land when everything was really heckin' cheap. And it's just a case of the landscape has changed, not just because of COVID, but just because of everything that has happened in the past 18 months.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like the landscape has changed now, and we may never go back to how it was. And if we do, it will probably take years for those prices to come back down again. So, yeah, you know, I say we want a competing product at 200 to 250, but you know, that's 2019 me speaking, because that's what we would have wanted in 2019.
I also think,
we're not going to get that now.
To a degree, the issue we have, certainly at least with the chiplet design being able to feed down all of that way, is that the process node has become too good. So there are too few chiplets that are failing to make a product like that viable.
Yes,
because
I see
obviously
what you mean.
all of them can just be 5600s or 5800s.
Yeah.
Because they aren't defective enough to become a 3300.
Yeah.
Or a 5300.
The low end bins don't have a lot in them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there isn't anything that's that bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's kind of thing. So it required them to specifically design a product for that price range and for that performance and that number of cores and so on.
Yeah.
Which, when you're already supply constrained on a silicon side, why would you make something where your profit margin is going to be lower?
Yeah.
Your selling price is going to be less.
Yeah.
When you're already supply constrained.
Yeah. And that's why there's no low end Ryzen 5000, just because AMD have no obligation to make one. You know?
I mean, they never had an obligation to make one.
Yeah.
But there was a market force requirement for one because of pricing.
Yeah, and of course, just selling off your crap stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to a degree, it's why we only saw like 100 3300Xs ever exist in the UK.
Yeah.
Because the node was actually sufficiently good that there were so few of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That ever existed.
They made them, and everyone was just like, "Oh, this has been out of stock for ages. Why aren't there any more?" And they're just like, "We don't have any more. We don't make them on purpose. They're cut down CPUs, and all of the higher end ones work, and we make more money on them. So why would we actually? Yeah, you know, you're buying offcuts, and we don't have any more offcuts, and you don't deliberately make an offcut.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah,
I think the difference is to a degree with obviously Intel's method because that's all still monolithic, it's a case of they design low-end products as well.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
So they're actually designing and intentionally building a 12400. You know, they're specifically designing that product to exist as well. So kind of, it's a slightly different market.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And also to answer Chris's question, Alder Lake, there's going to be a full complement of F SKUs as well. So there's pretty much a full complement.
I'm expecting
all the main lines have got F variants.
Yeah, I'm expecting us to see a KS variant at some point in.
What's the KS again? Is that the super speed
ultra edition super duper binned version?
Yeah,
that will be probably an extra $150 for like 50 megahertz.
Yeah, and potentially. Are the KSs any good at overclocking? Because if they're because if it's a higher binned part, like it might not be so good at overclocking because it's already running at the ragged edge. But
then again, it's a case of you then don't need to overclock to that point.
Yes, quite so. KS keeps spending.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's certainly what it was with the 9900 KS.
Yeah.
But no, the other thing that's good with this launch is Intel is finally acknowledging the fact that no one believed any of their power numbers.
Yeah.
And there's now a base power and a turbo power number.
That's good.
So they're finally actually acknowledging that.
Yeah.
And giving those numbers as specifications.
And do they look realistic? Because I haven't actually looked at the power figures at all.
I can't remember exactly what they are, but I think whatever the i9 is 130 and 240. I think it's in that order.
That sounds a bit more sane. I mean, 240, considering what the previous ones could burst up to, that sounds a bit conservative. But at least they're actually acknowledging that these things, at least they're not saying 120 watt TDP anymore, which was just a completely arbitrary number.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously we know that TDPs are arbitrary anyway, and I know this because I keep getting comments of people going, TDP is arbitrary. Yes, I know TDP is arbitrary. However, on AMD, the TDP just happens to be approximately what the chip actually uses.
Yeah.
Not by design, but by coincidence. So like AMD's TDP is an arbitrary number, but that arbitrary number just so happens to coincide with the approximate power consumption of the CPU anyway. However, Intel's one was just like, no, this is a meaningless number and no one knows why you even bother advertising it.
Because it was the only one that was actually a specification. Because the only things that were guaranteed as a part of the specification were that it would turn on, clock at the base clock, and use that power at the base clock. That's what the specification said. Whereas obviously all of their marketing and stuff, certainly at least in the consumer space, was about the turbo speeds.
Yeah.
Which is why it seemed so disingenuous.
Yes.
So,
it was, they were wanting to say, we can do up to this for the performance part, but yet they didn't want to acknowledge what the power penalty for actually doing that was.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's just like, you don't get to brag about the up to speeds if you're not going to talk about the up to power consumption.
Yeah, because the officially listed spec for the 12900K is 125 watt base and 241 watt turbo.
Yeah,
which seems entirely reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, 241 watt turbo doesn't seem reasonable, but the number seems reasonable for it to actually be accurate for what the chip is doing.
Yeah, my guess is that that's going to be sustained turbo as well, because obviously you're going to get your
because that's what turbo is now. There is no longer a tau period.
Interesting.
Yeah, the boost algorithm's been changed.
Yeah. Good, because that was the other issue, is just the fact of like, are we talking tau here or not? Because with previous Intel chips, your turbo period for 60 seconds would be, again, assuming complete stock no motherboard optimizations or anything like that, you get 60 seconds of peak turbo where the chip could pull 300 odd watts, and then it would settle down to something a bit more sensible. So it was always about that peak turbo, which you don't necessarily actually get. Whereas if they've actually ditched that and they're saying, no, this is now sustained turbo and sustained power consumption, that is far more useful because that's actually now real.
Yeah, to quote directly from an Antex article on it, for users who understand the former PL1, PL2 methodology, it still technically exists under the hood here, where base is PL1 and turbo is PL2, but tau is effectively infinite for K processors.
For K processors, interesting. Yeah. Fair enough, yeah. That actually differentiates the K SKUs quite a lot more now.
Yeah, and the K SKUs are the only ones that have launched.
Yes.
Thus far.
Okay, yeah.
Because we've only got the 600, 700, and 900 Ks and KSs. KFs. Even.
Yeah. Because I've always been a little bit annoyed about the existence of the K SKU anyway. It's just from a perspective of, that's the overclocking one. It's just, again, with Intel's arbitrary, no, you're only allowed to overclock these ones, and you have to have a Z series motherboard, and etc. etc.
Yeah.
However, and it's just like, okay, well, if they're going to do that, at least they're actually adding in additional benefits, because, like, for non-K SKUs that are going into OEM systems, which will have the bare minimum of cooling and stuff like that, it kind of makes sense to have turbo limits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to tout the K SKU as the enthusiast chip, then at least have something a bit more than just unlocked multiplier. So if they're also going to say, look, it's got unlocked multiplier, got a little bit higher boost on it, but also it has, as by spec, infinite boost. So for as long as your system can sustain it, given power and thermal limits, then it's like, cool, now you're giving a compelling reason for the K SKU to exist.
To a degree.
Versus an OEM solution.
Yeah, to a degree. Obviously, the case of it becomes irrelevant in most of the consumer space that obviously we're existing in.
Yeah.
Because multi-core enhancement was a thing that just completely ignored the tau limit anyway, because the tau limit was motherboard enforced, not CPU enforced.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case of...
Yeah, this is true. There's a bit of chat of idle in there. 3950X idling at 70 watts. That sounds a bit normal to me, to be honest. I'm surprised that an 8350 idles at 25 to 30. That sounds very low to me.
As far as I'm aware, though, on the AMD side, it idles at 70 watts. The power reporting is completely useless.
Oh yeah, if you're getting that from software, that's bollocks. Basically,
probably, unfortunately, because
I hate to break it to you.
Idling power reporting on AMD is really bad.
The only idling number that I will believe is there anything plugged into it? There isn't, so I can unplug it.
Suddenly unplug streaming rig. No,
that was not my intent. The only idling power draw figures I will believe are when you've got an actual power meter plugged into the wall, like one of these, just a pass-through power adapter. They're like 15 to 20 quid or $15 to $20. Plug one of those in. It tells you what's going through the cable, not what's being reported. The reported figures might be accurate in some places, but not others. There's a lot of asterisks
It's like
to
the
that.
weirdness we found with the when we're overclocking the bulldozer.
That's right.
Chips.
That thing had
just
a mind
because
of its
one of them was reporting the CPU temperature as like 70 degrees.
Yeah.
And then the motherboard was reporting the CPU temperature as like -13.
Yeah. And also like for
the
power,
-13 was the real one.
Yeah.
And like the clock speed. In one place it was being reported as like 1.9 gigahertz.
Yeah.
And somewhere else it was like 4.7.
And the power consumption as well. I'm sure there was one spot where the power consumption, it was saying, oh yeah, the CPU is using about 70 watts. Yeah. And this was reporting 400 kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't know where you're getting 70 watts from, but this guy doesn't lie, So
just very much.
It's just, if you're checking idle power consumption, what's going through the wire, man.
Yeah.
Don't believe the software.
Or obviously cable clamps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As well,
or
which will be dramatically more accurate.
Yeah, something mechanical.
When you've got the setup.
Yeah. I need to get a cable clamp. I did buy one, but it only does AC amps, not DC amps, which is really frustrating. And I didn't realize that when I bought it. All the cheap ones are AC only. So you've got to watch out when you're actually buying a clamp. You need to buy one that's actually moderately expensive for it to have DC amps on the clamp, which is rather frustrating.
Also, obviously, the breakout power boards and stuff.
Yeah.
Which are becoming far more popular, which is nice. I think Elmore Labs makes one.
I've seen a third-party one floating around. I saw some pictures in the Discord recently.
Yeah, I think it was Elmore Labs. I can't remember. Dual PCI power, 1 EPS.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, part of me is kind of interested in that, but then the problem is because it's passed through, the beauty of having a clamp is that you can just clamp it onto whatever you're looking at. Whereas when you have got a pass-through connector, it's just like you've got to pull all the cables out and wire that in. It's like putting your multimeter in series, you know. So it kind of means you've got to set up. Now, if you're doing bench overclocking, that's obviously no big deal. But like if you're experimenting on a computer or even your home computer and you're just like, hey, I want to do an experiment, suddenly you've got to pull out all of your cable tidying to put in this series power meter. And
the issue with the clamp, though, is obviously the case of you couldn't really do it in a case because the case is a metal box.
Yeah, that's true.
And it will affect the reading.
Yeah, and you need to actually make sure that you've separated out the plus 12s and the zeros, because obviously if you clamp around the entire EPS cable, you're going to get 0 because you'll be measuring the 0 volt and 12 volt wires at the same time. So yeah, I guess I've kind of undone my own argument there, but I don't know. Broadly speaking, if you have an approximate estimate of what specific components in the computer are using, having just a wall meter is a very good rule of thumb, I think. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to find out what my one at home is doing at the moment, because I'm horrified by how much power my 3080 Ti uses, as I mentioned earlier on, and I'm kind of like it. The hardware info tells me that my graphics card idles at like 100 watts, and I'm like, man, I really hope that's not true, because that makes me very sad.
The problem is, though, that that's irrelevant when your LEDs are at 6 amps.
Look, I didn't bring my RGB into this, so I'll thank you for leaving it out.
You're concerned about power usage when you've got 6 amps per fan.
I'll have you know it was 600 milliamps per fan. So...
which was twice the power of the fan.
I need to get the torrent video done, man. The 250 millimeter RGB fans that come with the Fractal torrent are 600 milliamps just for the LEDs. That's not including the rotor. So yeah. So yeah. Let's see. Catching up with chat. Yeah. Oh well. Right. While we've been chatting, I've actually just I don't know how much I care about these DSs. I might move on to just something else, because what I've been doing just idly while we've been plugging these in. Hang on a sec. Let's go to bench cam. And cam link. There we go. I have actually plugged both of these DSs in, and the charge light comes on, but if I press the power button, nothing happens. So I'm kind of sort of looking at these going, how much do I care? Like, I was kind of expecting them to turn on and have a broken screen or something like that and be like, oh, okay, we've just got to buy a new screen. I'm sure that's £3 on eBay. But, I mean, all the batteries could be goosed. I wonder if it works with the battery out. But yeah, anyone know anything about DSs? Because I haven't worked on one for years. I know I put these in the thumbnail and everything, but the more I look at this, the more I'm just like, I am very much not caring about this. So I'm going to pop the battery out and just see what it does with the battery disconnected. Oh, that's interesting. There's no sense on that battery, so I could just jump a power supply onto that. I might just do that and see what it does. Okay, so the light came on and then went out again with no battery connected. I'm just going to connect up the bench power supply and just emulate a battery super quick. So yeah, We're still taking questions and topics in the chat, by the way. So I'm just doing this just so we're doing something, just so I can pretend, because I did say we would fix stuff on stream, but at the same time, I'm also really tired and I'm regretting saying that this would be a fixing stream, because I'm just like, I can't be asked.
Where's your Can I have the multimeter?
You can. Oh, you're going to check if there's anything in the battery. I'm trying to find the camera focus, but I'm going to have to go back to Logitech settings, man, because Logitune is garbage.
What?
I mean, well, no, it's not terrible, but Logitune is it's not better than settings at the very least. I'm not having a good time with Logitune. The interface is too cramped, and every time I open it, it says this application needs to be relaunched, and I'm just like, fine. So yeah,
3.7 volts.
Okay, so there's power in the battery then. That doesn't bode well. Although that's with no load. If we actually put a load on that, it might fall over. Right, let's see. I'm going to turn on the power supply and plumb a fake battery into this. Let's do 4 volts. I'm going to have to move over here because the cables aren't long enough. Logitech software is absolute cabbage. It kind of is, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolute cabbage.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Absolute cabbage.
I very much like that phrase. Are we off? Yes, we're off.
This one is at 4.1 volts.
That's going to be really tough to get those crocodile clips on there without them shorting. I'm going to put a tactical...
Put a tactical plastic bag between the two.
A tactical baggie.
Oh no.
Baggie of screws, I'll have you know.
I feel like
you can't say that online.
I swear that's more like a Chris comment.
It kind of is, isn't it?
A Chris.
That might be short. Are those separated? Oh heck, it'll do. I need to bounce this so it's open and I can try and turn it on. This is not great.
Captain tape?
That would be better. Oh, hang on a sec. I think I've figured out an angle where I can get this in place. This reminds me of our conversation about arcing earlier on. People are getting angry about USB Type-C 40-volt arcing, aren't they?
Well, as far as I can tell, some people are just getting angry that USB carries power. I'm like, hi, welcome to 1999.
Yeah. Right. That's on at 4 volts. It's not drawing any power at all. And I pushed the power button, it went to 14 milliamps. And didn't turn on. So the power button works because it reacts to that. And when I press the power button again, it goes to 0. So it's actually responding to the power being turned on and off. And as far as I'm concerned, that immediately tells me that I'm wasting my time. Because I'm interpreting that as this thing doesn't post, or the firmware is screwed, or something like that. Because the power system is turning on and off when I press the power button. But the device is not initializing in any meaningful way. Could be something simple like a shorted SMD cap. Bad caps? Yeah? Are we going to open this up? What game cart is inside? That's the real question, isn't it? Super Mario Bros. Sorry, new Super Mario Bros. Or new at the time when this one came out.
As opposed to geriatric Super Mario Bros.
I really hate Nintendo's new branding. Because it's just like...
I thought you were just going to stop it. I really hate Nintendo.
Well, that as well.
Because that would also be an accurate statement, I feel. What happened to these?
I hate the fact that I hate Nintendo. I want to love Nintendo. Everyone wants to love Nintendo. But it's an abusive relationship. Well, yeah, I don't know. People want to appreciate Nintendo. That's for GBA cartridges.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you used to be able to put GBA cartridges into the DS, which was super cool. I don't know what this dummy cartridge actually has in it. I assume that's just a Terminator block. But yeah.
I don't know, but it's got a tri-Dubry what's it screw on there. Have you got a tri-Dubry what's it screwdriver?
I have, if you want to have a look, yeah.
I'll have a look. I'll give it a ganders. Propaganda? Isn't that when a British person has a good look at something?
Right, and have I got a tri-wing here? If not, I'm going to have to go over to the... No, that's Phillips. I'm going to go over to my iFixit kit. iFixit!
Explosions! Fix your friend! They'll appreciate it!
Absolute genius, that. Love Jay or hate him, that was the best iFixit advert ever.
Who came up with these screws?
Guaranteed. I didn't get one. I was actually sent one. A viewer sent in a care package. I opened it a couple of streams ago. They sent in a care package with a whole bunch of awesome hacking tools in it. So yeah, it was a big old gift.
I thought these were metal. When I looked at them over there, I thought the handles were metal.
No, they are not. But then
metal.
I would prefer them to be plastic.
Oh no, it was statement. I just thought they were.
A lot of people, I don't like metal-handled screwdrivers. Like a lot of people like these cheap Chinese ones are often metal-handled, and people sort of buy the ready kits and it's like sort of got a metal screw, and they're like, oh, it's metal, it's really strong. And it's like, no, that just means it goes really slippy when it's wet. You know, like as soon as you have a vaguely sweaty hand, you can't hold on to that screwdriver. And knurling is at best a stopgap. You still need to put an actual rubber grip on it, which means you may as well make it from plastic. Oh well. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Oh yeah, it is termination. It's literally just shorts them all together. I think there's holes through it. Or not. How bizarre.
How bizarre.
Yeah, no, they're not all shorted together. They're because there's holes punched through all of them. What purpose does that serve? I don't understand.
What are you?
Yeah. That's very odd.
And then
they all go to nowhere, yeah.
Plastic.
Yeah. Like I could understand this existing because the terminals would function to hold the cartridge in, because then it stays in and doesn't fall out. But then why bother putting any traces on it at all? How odd. Metal screwdrivers are great for a Live 240. I should hope not. You can put that back together again now.
Yes.
I'm done. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna open this up and have a cursory look inside.
Have you got another one of these? Have you got the one for the black one?
Yeah. Why, have you forgotten how it went together?
Only because I wasn't sure which side it kind of just sits on, because it just sits.
Yeah. I'm going to open this up and see if we can find anything. This is going to be a pain to put back together again, I'm sure of it. I'm calling it now. I'm going to try and open this up. The shoulder buttons are going to jump out of place, and I'm going to spend the rest of the stream trying to put it back together again. Just calling it. Oh, that's Phillips.
That's the wrong screw.
Yeah. If it was the fuse, the LED wouldn't light up. Yeah.
Damn it.
I suppose it could be a shorted cap. I suppose SMD components in this can fail just the same. I'm just like, are we doing board repair on a DS? Probably not. Like, I have very, very minimal interest in these things, to be honest. Again, this is just a curiosity glance. It's a case of like, I'm having a look to see if there's something worth doing here.
This is very much my first time looking at a DS. So.
Oh yeah, the DS was very cool.
Apparently, this is a DS Lite.
Yes.
So is that? Okay.
Yeah. Because
I commented that only because they've got slightly different batteries.
Yeah.
Fractionally different labeling.
Oh right, fair enough. Yeah, probably just generational differences. Yeah. Yeah, the DS was cool. I liked it. I'm kind of like, the DS has been superseded by the Switch, but I think there's a strong argument to be made that the Switch doesn't really replace the DS because it's a big boy, and I still appreciate the compact size of a DS because I've always been a Game Boy kid. I've always owned a Game Boy, and you know, like, this is not the same as a Switch. Yes, the Switch is portable, but like, it's you can easily, this is the size of a mobile phone. You can put that in your pocket. A Switch, you don't carry a Switch in your pocket, man. You know, it's just, yeah, come on. So, where have all my prying tools gone?
I don't know.
You should.
Why do I find everything in here?
I'm gonna go and find a prying tool.
Found one.
Oh, that's the one that's supposed to. Yeah, there's like 4 of these in the shop, and there's supposed to be one on each desk, but they all find their way into the same place after a while. DS, 3DS, and Switch. Oh yeah, the 3D. I forgot the 3DS was a thing, because I've held a 3DS once, but I
didn't. They then all get replaced by XLs. Didn't they go?
And then they went down to the 2DS. Because
when everyone realised that the stereoscopic 3D on a 160 pixel wide screen looked like
didn't really work. It was a novel idea, but just no. This is coming apart horribly.
Oh god, and then there was a DSi, and then the new XL, and oh lord.
Yeah.
Oh lordy. Nintendo,
Where
may
does
I
this want to
introduce
go?
you to names?
This is going about as well as I expected, where everything is falling apart.
Everything is awful.
Pretty much. I'm just like, I'm sure this back cover comes off, but it doesn't want to go. Oh, I've missed a screw, that's why. Everyone's probably been screaming at me in the chat.
Screw!
Yeah, that's why it's not going.
Oh, okay.
You got a 3DS in your a 3DS in your hand right now? Yeah. There we go. The 3DS did have some notable things on it. You know, the Ocarina of Time remake was significant in my opinion, because it made Ocarina of Time actually playable again. Because the original Ocarina of Time, man, you've got to really love that game to want to play it in this day and age. Right. So here's the main board. The other side, I'm guessing. Oh, there's must be other stuff. I'm trying to look and see how much there might actually be on the other side of the board. Other than, I think it's just going to be controls though. However, I'm not going to lie, I've got no idea where to start with this. I'm kind of tempted to just start buzzing out some of the visible capacitors and just seeing if there are any shorts. But if I found a short, I wouldn't know if that's supposed to be there or not. Will that wireless module come out the way? It can do. That's just stuck down, but it's also not blocking my access to anything important. So the light does come on when we apply power to there. The battery contacts are there. It's not going to be shorted across the battery contacts because the device turns on. Fuses, yeah. Alright. Can anyone tell me where the fuses are on this thing? I've never, as I say, the only experience I have with a DS is, let me bring you guys in a bit closer. Only experience I have with a DS is replacing screens on them. So, 17FU. No, FU. I'm going to guess that's ground. Let's just have beat mode for a sec. Yeah, that's ground. Good. Right, so I'm just going to quickly start buzzing out capacitors. They should have ground on one side, but not on the other. That's an inductor, because it's black. That very brief beep that we get when I touch some of them is because the capacitors are not charged up. So for a moment, it goes low resistance as the capacitor suddenly starts charging up, and then the resistance rapidly skyrockets. So that's why sometimes for a moment it beeps and then it doesn't. Trap for young players. That's the negative pin. Yeah, right, so where are the fuses? Does anyone know? Short on cap is not normal. Yeah, I didn't think so. Because I'm not seeing any fuses in this thing, so I don't know if that's a known thing or not. Are there any labelled L's and R's? I think you guys are right. I think I would need schematics to make any kind of start on this. But at the same time, I'm also of the mindset of, like, I'm really not sure if I'm going to get involved in this, because if it requires board repair, I don't think I care. This was purely going to be a matter of like, has the power button come loose and fallen off, or is the screen broken, or has this power connector come off of the board? That's the kind of repair that I would have said, oh yeah, we'll just solder that back on and she'll be right. Someone said reseat the Wi-Fi card. All right, yeah. F2 is next to the battery connector. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's F1 up there. So F1 is off of the main thing. That one is fine. F2 is there. Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, I got excited then, but it was bad probing. It's not very convincing. The fuse has not blown. But the probing on it is really unconvincing. But also it's covered in muck. It's got flux residue on it and stuff like that. So I think that intermittent beep we're getting is purely just bad probing. Could have blasted the hot air gun before anything else. Nah. Try bending the screen back a bit when turning it on. The Wi-Fi chip also contains the BIOS for the DS.
What?
I could find that believable because there's probably it probably has a firmware chip on it. So they're like, yeah, we can put the rest of the BIOS in there as well or something. I don't find that difficult to believe. There's probably more than just Wi-Fi on this module.
I look at that and go, but why?
Yeah. Well, also, it means this Wi-Fi module is detachable, so you can mass produce the main circuit board, and then the only unique part of the device is this single module. So you program the module with the serial number and the firmware for the device and plug that in, and you've now personalized the device kind of thing. So that kind of makes sense from a manufacturing perspective, I think. I mean, I don't know if that's true. Obviously, I'm working purely with what just some people on the internet are telling me right now. Try voltage injection and FLIR. We don't have a short circuit. Right, well, this just pull off. I think that's just glued down. So I'm going to just give this a gentle pry. There we go. So there we go. There's the Wi-Fi module plus whatever else is there, maybe. Anything else to see there? What's that? What's that U6 chip? Nope, never mind. I thought I saw something that might have been a spy chip or something. Yeah, all of the ribbons are in. Yeah, I'm going to plug this in, and if it doesn't do anything, which it probably won't, I'm going to quickly give up and move on from these. Well, this is the black one. We'll stick the power supply on the white one as well. In fact, I'll do that now while I wait for this to sit and be unplugged. We'll just see if the white one has exactly the same symptoms. If so, I think I'm rapidly going to give up on these and just move on to something else because, yeah, I don't think this is viable. Like, this is not going to be a labor of love. This is a case of a customer has bought these in and asked me if I can make them work, and it's a case of I think like you can probably buy working ones for £20 on eBay or something like that. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing board repair on these. I don't care. I do not care. Right. I'm trying to line these up so I can turn it on while it's plugged in. Is this turned on? No, good. And I need to put in my tactical bag.
Okay. Yes.
What's occurring?
£21 for a red one. £24 for a pink one.
Yeah, there you go.
£45 if you want it refurbished.
Yeah. So it's kind of a matter of, like, because the customer already owns these ones, if they were a if I could just sort of, if I could stick a new battery in for 20 for a tenner on each of them, then that would be worth it. And I'd make a couple of quid and just be like, there you go. And that would be a job done and a customer who is happy and will bring something else in for repair. But it's like, if I'm going to spend an hour doing diagnosis on this, that's an hour I could have spent servicing a laptop at £50 profit. £50 pure profit, no parts required, instead of making a couple of quid putting a new battery in a DS. You know, it's just like, it's not an economic business model. Okay, power on. This one's drawing 5 milliamps at standby. And when I press the power button on this one, nothing happens. So the symptoms are slightly different, but still equally as uninformative. Because that one actually draws some milliamps at idle, am I going to take the covers off this one as well? No, I'm not. I think I've tuned out of these. I think we're putting these back together again.
Go on then.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you stick a battery and a cover back on that one. And I shall now reassemble this then in that case. An hour spent not talking about Windows 11 is now wasted. Oh, we could talk about Windows 11, but...
Could we?
We could.
Could we?
Oh. I don't know. Is there any interesting news on Windows 11? I don't think there is. I still haven't updated any of my other systems to it.
I'm going to say no and end this conversation now.
Okay. What would you like to talk about today, Caradog?
Not Windows 11. Not again.
Very well.
We've done it twice. I don't think there's anything to cover at this point.
That's true. It was a quote unquote headline topic last week. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the new Windows 11 readiness thing that's been coming out on the latest round of Windows 10 updates, which is not horrendous, to be honest. It's a program that's appearing on everyone's computer, but it doesn't automatically open. So I'm just like...
It also appears to only appear on some computers. Because it's not appeared on any of the Office ones or my one at home.
Maybe that's just because of staggered rollouts. It's been popping up on all of the customer builds in here.
Yeah, but then my computer is already compatible and says download Windows 11 and click here to install.
Yeah.
As a part of the Windows Update screen.
Yeah.
So I'm presuming that's why it's not bothered, because it's like, oh, it's already downloaded Windows 11. What's the point in the readiness software?
The volume slider. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that is fair.
I am entirely not interested in the conversation around it right now, because there is nothing. Just because there is nothing new.
Yes.
It's like we've had this conversation before. We had this conversation about Windows 8. We had this about 8.1. We had it about 10.
Yes.
And I'm just kind of like,
we're now at the point where the topic is how much we don't care about Windows 11, isn't it?
Well, no.
And now we're stuck in that stage where just having this conversation is talking about it, and you're like, I don't want to talk about this.
Sure. No.
Very well. Let's see.
I was actually just before.
Oh, Metaverse. Sorry. Yeah. What about Facebook and Metaverse? Have you got any interesting things on any comments on that? Facebook's parent.
I know nothing about it.
Okay, so Facebook, the parent company, not the website Facebook, have renamed themselves to Meta, and that back cover went on remarkably easy. I thought that was going to put up a bigger fight, and Zuckerberg is talking about a VR fantasy land kind of thing. And the actual rebranding of the Facebook company to Meta, my thoughts on that, I'm in the camp of this is clearly a reaction to the parent company beginning to distance themselves from Facebook, the website, because no one likes Facebook. The people who use Facebook don't really like Facebook. I don't know anyone who likes Facebook. You know, even if you use it, you're using it just because you're like, well, that's where my friends are or something like that. But no one actually likes Facebook, right? And I think the Facebook company fully are aware of this, and they're like, at some point we need to try and start moving away from that, because no one is going to want to have anything to do with our new projects if they're under the brand name of Facebook. But then the problem
I'd go a stage further and say that anyone in the tech community doesn't want anything to do with any of their new projects if any of their staff are involved with it.
Well, that's just it, because the next thing I was going to point out is the fact of, like, you know, Google isn't called Google, it's called Alphabet. But who the hell calls them Alphabet? It's Google. We all know it's Google, you know.
I think it depends on what projects you're doing.
Yeah.
Because almost all of their projects have been from Google.
Yeah.
As the brand from Alphabet.
Yeah.
That we have talked about in the consumer space.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I think the problem is that Meta are now going to have the same issue where it's just like, so Facebook. You're talking about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook.
I think possibly the reason for it from Google is that it allows them to. It at the time conveniently allowed them to sidestep optics issues with then CEOs.
Yes.
And so on, in a very convenient fashion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that part was part of it there, but also a case of, obviously, because they're separate entities and stuff now, it also massively helps for tax reasons.
Yes. Yeah. So
and their licensing deals and things like that.
Logistics perspectives and stuff
so
like
on
that.
And so
yeah.
forth. So it's not necessarily a brand perception thing, but because separate legal entities, tax stuff and things like that.
This is true, and but I think Meta is essentially going to be in a similar vein, where, you know, it's because Facebook, they're obviously, like, this whole VR metaverse thing is just one that's currently Zuckerberg's pet project. Whether or not it will succeed or not is another question. I
feel like my comment to that is then just buy Second Life. Second Life will be and has been a better version of whatever you release.
Yeah, like I haven't been on Second. I've not seen Second Life in a hot minute, but you're kind of right. Buying Second Life would actually be a much better angle into this.
Or if, like, a game studio with a lot of money did it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and went, new engine.
Bored of the DSs. So yeah, it's free and it's also shit. Yeah, it still runs 30 FPS on modern systems. Really? Like, I mean, I know.
I presume so.
Yeah.
Oh, because the code in it is probably going to be 20 years old. It's probably not had any sort of actual architectural change or upgrade.
Yeah, that's a bit depressing. I suppose VR chat is probably a much more viable platform these days, because VR chat is actually modern and has a very good amount and has a very strong community on it now. I'm sure Second Life has got a community that's very passionate. I'm sure there's dozens of them. But VR chat is
maybe.
Yeah.
But there's dozens of them who are spending thousands of pounds on items.
Yeah. Either way, VR chat is a platform that certainly I would have much more interest in, because, like, Mr. Guru says sort of, I'll just get a life kind of thing. VR chat and stuff like that, the concept of a virtual reality space to meet people in and stuff like that, I think is a great idea for various reasons. However, I think sort of, Mark Zuckerberg seems to be approaching, with his metaverse, seems to be approaching this more in a sense of, like, I really hate to draw the Ready Player One comparison, especially because I've never seen or read Ready Player One. But, for those of you who aren't aware of the concept, in Ready Player One, the virtual reality universe of that is called Oasis, I think. The idea is that people are essentially just living in boxes and spend their entire life in that VR space, and that seems to be more akin to what Mark Zuckerberg is implying, or that's the comparison that everyone is drawing. And it's like, no, that's not really what we want at all. VR chat is great, but there's obviously eventually you got to wake up now and then.
Also, I feel like I say this as a counterpoint though, I don't know what mass market problem it's solving.
Yeah, sure. And
to get to a critical, say, 40% of people. Yeah. I don't know what 40% of people's problem VR chat is fixing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what problem it's resolving.
Yeah.
And then a case of kind of,
I mean, there are niche. One of the things that, like VR chat, as well as being just, or VR in general, but especially like VR chat, because a lot of people look at VR chat and go, "What are you doing in VR chat? You're just talking to people, right?" It's just like, well, obviously, it's more to that because everyone's got online friends. But imagine you had your online friends in the same room as you, and you can actually socialize them IRL. And you can do that as your own persona and stuff like that. There's loads of reasons why for what VR chat is solving, and the other advantage of that as well is, for example, I have a friend who they are, I don't know if they're legally blind, but they can more or less only see something that's literally an inch away from their eyes. It's full on like they basically can't see anything except a blur. And in order to use a mobile phone, they're essentially doing that. That's how they look at their mobile phone, kind of thing. In order to be able to see what's on the screen, it has to be like that. And obviously, with a VR headset, they can see. Like literally, because the VR screens are an inch away from their eye, and suddenly they can see. So VR is wonderful for them because they can go on VR chat and be in a room full of their friends and see, which is amazing. So that's kind of what that is solving. But to bring it back around to your point of an actual universe that people would spend all their time in, it's like, yeah, I don't know.
But also a case of my point was a mass market thing, because sure, that's a solution for 1 in 100,000 or 1 in 500,000.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a case of even then, even if we look at just VR as a general product of people who are interested in video games, it's still only maybe at a high estimate 10%.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case of even then, scaling it steps, it's niches inside niches inside niches. And I'm not saying that those niches shouldn't be served, but it's a case of it seems a bit weird that they're trying to do it as a mass market thing.
Yeah.
And also the fact of one of the selling points from Mark Zuckerberg was himself selling it, was going, oh yeah, you can go to meetings in VR. So now to have meetings at my company, I need to supply every member of staff with VR headsets?
Yeah.
You know what we could do? We could send an email.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? It feels like it's feels like it's a problem looking for solutions.
Oops, wrong one. Yes, I agree with that. And also it's just like who the hell wants to go to a business meeting in VR? Like we've like you say, you could send an email. There's enough people who get annoyed about having to do a Teams or a Skype or a Zoom meeting that has to be in video and everything, and people are just like, why am I here? This could have been an email, or you could have just picked up the phone. So yeah, the struggle is real there as well. And yeah, I think all of this comes off as extremely odd because of the timing. Like they announce that they're changing the name to Meta, and the fact that they're sort of that Mark is talking about the Metaverse at the same time implies that is a big, massive part of what he's doing next. Now, with Google, you can kind of understand Google because Google are spinning 10,000 plates at the same time. They've always got 100 projects going on, and they're just throwing everything at the wall to see what starts sticking. Whereas with this one, they're kind of sort of saying, oh, we're changing our name to Meta, and we're creating the Metaverse. I'm just like, cool, what else have you got?
But also, what are you actually solving?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, okay, yeah, and what else have you got? Because I don't care about that. So yeah.
I feel like there's a very large number of people who just won't care.
Yeah, and also who won't get it. Because a very large number of people don't get VR. They look at that as, they don't understand what you can actually do with VR.
Yeah.
So,
but also, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So
it feels like a weird.
So yes, that's my opinions on the Meta change. I think I
don't know what it's solving.
It's big same. The company name change. I think that makes sense. I think the new name is a bit weird because Meta doesn't really mean anything in the context that they're using it.
Yeah.
Like I like to use Meta as a daily term to describe the standard. Like for example, if I say this is a Meta PC build, I mean it's a completely bog standard custom PC build in. It's got a CPU, it's got a graphics card, it's got whatever RAM is popular right now. It's the norm kind of thing. Like if someone said I'm going to build a gaming PC and it's going to be a Meta build, it's like, cool, okay, so the current Meta is an Intel i5 or i7, an AMD Ryzen this or that, some RAM, a graphics card, and an SSD. Whereas if you start saying no, it's going to have a Xeon and dual graphics cards, so it's like, well, that's not a Meta build anymore. That's now exotic. And so that's what I think about when people talk about Meta. So I think the name is a bit weird because I don't think a lot of people really understand what the use of that term is. But I can understand.
Also because your usage of the term doesn't align with any of the definitions of the meaning of the word.
I suppose.
To dictionaries.
Yeah, I mean, of course,
that's literally what I was just looking up. The actual definition of it.
It just means beyond, doesn't it?
To be self-referential, to be aware of one's, to making or showing awareness of a reference to oneself or the activity that is taking place, especially in an ironic or comic way.
Yes, yeah, I agree with that.
Yes,
yeah,
but from Urban Dictionary, Meta used in MMO meaning most effective tactic available. So as an abbreviation.
Oh, interesting. It's an acronym.
Yeah.
In that context.
Yeah. Most effective tactic available.
That's really interesting. I didn't know it was a yeah.
I mean, that's entirely possible, a backronym, but
backronym. That's a wonderful word, isn't it? Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
That.
Sorry, that was a random tangent then, but just yeah. Oh well. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, just to this is a motherboard that
this is a motherboard. Yes.
No. There's more. This is a bucket. Is that someone trying to come in through my door? Sorry, mate, we're closed. Anyway, this is a motherboard. This was sent in by Winston. It's dead. I can't remember what exactly happened to it. I think something happened and there was a zap and now it doesn't work. So I'm going to power it on and see what it does, basically. So yeah, we're missing one of the standoffs for the chipset heatsink, which is why I've taken that off. So I don't know what the deal with that is. Yes, you like Meta because the Greek word that symbolizes there's always more to build, and Meta meant after or beyond. Yeah. I don't know.
Screw that store.
I don't know. I'm gonna grab a power supply, and so yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Do you want to swap stools so you're not on the squeaky one?
But I'm not bothered by that. It was more the fact I was just like, oh, screw that still.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because I stood up because my leg went funny.
Oh right, yeah. Fair enough.
So I was clearly sitting funny.
Yeah. Yes. So no, I don't know what to make of it really. I'm not terribly interested either, just simply because yes, there is a TPM module on it.
That has snot on
which we'll leave off actually, just because the wrong TPM module will actually block posts. So don't even know if it's the correct one for the board.
Yes.
It is an Asus brand one, but yeah, has it got the correct pin out?
Oh, it's got the correct.
Oh yes, it has. Yeah, it is the pin. Yeah, the pin layout is correct at least. Yeah, I say that just because I got. You'll reckon back. I did actually buy a TPM module, which is kicking around somewhere. However, it wasn't actually compatible with any motherboards that I had in the shop, including it was an MSI one, and it didn't work in any of my MSI boards, and I didn't realize that they were actually fairly specific, which is my own stupid fault for not doing my research beforehand. But yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, Mr. Zuckerberg just needs to go away. You know, that's kind of another interesting thing that I think bears mention. I need to find a CPU. What is that? Athlon 200 GE. That'll work in a B550, won't it?
Possibly. You also need RAM.
Yeah. Let me grab a RAM kit. Yeah, that was at some. Yeah, I don't know. I've got. I don't want to. Shut up. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, and I don't know how genuine I'm feeling this. But there are certain times where I sympathise with Mark Zuckerberg because, let's face it, he is one of the most disliked people on the internet right now.
It's not like he does anything to dissuade that opinion.
That's the problem, isn't it? You know, it's just like I feel like
he could have entirely vanished from the public eye and stopped being the most hated person on the internet by stopping existing in the public eye.
Or at the very least,
it would not have affected his life in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't know. And I think it's kind of a case of there's a lot of vitriol for Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm just like, man, that is a vicious spotlight to be under. But at the same time,
stop being under it.
Yeah, or failing that, it's a case of or you could stop your company from being a terrible company as well. Assuming that all of the allegations are accurate.
I think my favourite one recently was him complaining that news agencies weren't publishing certain articles to his website. And I was like, really? You're complaining about other companies selectively sharing with people?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine you getting salty about that.
Yeah. Oof.
I was like,
that is the big ouch.
Imagine having a modicum of self-awareness.
Oh, there's a meta joke in there somewhere, isn't there?
Oh, something. Right. Oh, yes. And just in preparation for turning it on.
Fire hydrant. I've no idea. This is probably going to be very boring when we turn this on. We're just chatting while we plug in more e-waste, I think. I think that's what we're doing. Meta logo looks like a Thigh Master. It is.
What?
I'm assuming that that's one of those elastic workout things that you use to exercise. You know, you've got to put one around your thighs and then open and close your legs and stuff like that. And I'm going to stop talking rapidly about that, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm gonna do a search for the logo.
Yeah. It's really hard to come up with a logo these days, in my opinion. So, I'm just like, yeah, well, it's a weird squiggle that looks like an M. What else do you expect a logo to be? So, yeah.
Logo.
Some company was complaining that the Meta logo was copying theirs very precisely.
Oh, it's an M that kind of looks like a squidgy infinity symbol.
Yeah. And it's just like, well, yeah, it's about as boring and corporate as a corporate logo would be, isn't it? And it's just like, it's a corporate logo. What else do you expect? Right. Huh. All right.
Oh my god.
Oh, well, that was very boring. It literally does nothing.
Why was this the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, the photo that was used?
Where is so what's the context? Where is that photo posted?
some official photo to do with Meta. Which
Okay,
has just come up as a press release.
And it's basically just Mark Zuckerberg doing a selfie kind of thing.
But looking completely gormless and not human.
Because, yes.
And I'm like, this is the best you could come up with.
Yeah.
With a company that could buy media consultancy firms. You couldn't have a media consultancy person go, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Why are you so dumb? Oh my god. But yes, I don't know. That's not a rant at Facebook specifically.
Yeah.
Just most companies that do things like that. And you're just like...
It's kind of a thing that,
really?
like, I say that I'm sympathizing with Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg being a very hated company, but it's just like, what are you doing to alleviate that? That's the thing, isn't it? You're not actually doing anything to try and help yourself. So, yeah. Mark Zuckerberg not looking... Yeah, it is uncanny, isn't it, Chris? Like, I don't want to hate on Mark Zuckerberg and the way he looks, because attacking someone for the way they look is a very base argument. However,
if he wanted
he does look like a lizard man all the time, doesn't he?
However, if he wanted to cosplay as Data...
yeah.
He's 87% of the way there.
Yeah. All right, there's no short on the EPS connectors. What else was I going to check for? I guess we could check for... There's not going to be a short anywhere else, otherwise that would be shorting through the power supply. I guess we could check 3VSB as well. Where's 3VSB on the power supply? Anyone know?
About there.
Thanks. It's purple, isn't it? Oh, 5VSB, sorry. 5VSB is not shorted. All right, so there's no short circuits. Is this button cell any good? I mean, this isn't going to stop it from turning on anyway, so I don't really care if the button cell is flat. Oh, but the button cell is flat. Like stone flat.
That's
actually a lot more interesting than I was expecting.
That's very not
like
alive.
That. Yeah, like I wouldn't expect that to prevent the computer from turning on, but this is, I mean, unless this is an old cell that Winston stuck in the board when he was troubleshooting it. Let's put in another cell. 3.1.
What are they nominal?
3 volt nominal.
Okay.
A lot of people say they're dead at 2.9 volts, but then they're 3.2 brand new kind of thing. But then on the other hand as well, based on our adventure with the doorbell, you know, the current handling of these cells is so bad that as soon as the voltage is dipping slightly, you're basically done. So, yeah.
True.
Winston. Oh, it wasn't a replacement cell. Yep, no idea. Also, hi, Mike White. Again, Mike White. Who is Winston? It is Winston Wolf on Discord, isn't it? Like, I know it's the same person, but like that is your... I'm very tired. It's someone Wolf. You are Winston on Discord, aren't you? Right. It still does nothing. Okay.
To avoid the stupid one, though, is that definitely the power switch? Not that one. I mean, is the pin out right?
Yeah, that's a very good point. We'll check it in a sec. Firstly, I'm just going to stick the voltmeter on that now. Yeah, that's still at 3.1, so nothing is pulling that battery down. Well, that cell, rather. So I'm going to stare real hard at the board for a sec and just check. Power LED, power button. Yes, definitely. So, power button. Yeah, that's absolutely shorting the power button and nothing is happening. Cool, okay. Let's confidence check the power supply. I'm just going to get a plug-in jobby. Because for once, I know where one is.
Congrats.
I know, right?
You did it. A+, 10 out of 10. Then you find the Antec's completely dead as well.
I mean, that would mean we're progressing, but at the same time, I'd be like, no!
Mother!
The Antec is venerable. Yes, the Antec works. It just powered up when with a short on across it. Cool. Okay. Maybe it'll turn off in a minute as well. Because capacitors for days, man. I love and hate this power supply in equal measure. All right. BIOS chip, I guess.
It'd still turn on with an incompatible CPU, wouldn't it?
Yes. Yes.
You'd just get nothing
We would
useful.
we'd get ignition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, apparently there was the pop sound from it as well. Have I got a PCI diagnostic card? We don't turn on. If it doesn't turn on, then we're not going to get anything from a PCI diagnostic card. We're nowhere near being able to use one of those. So yeah, a capacitor or something. Yeah. Yes, there was check for power at the power on button. That's a good shout. Yeah, that's a good point. Yep. So although CPU issues and stuff like that won't stop it turning on, a bad BIOS can prevent physical power on. But yeah, let's just check if there's power there. If we've got thing. I mean, we're getting dangerously into the realms where we're going to need to start finding out where power rails are and stuff like that. And again, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to go that far with this on stream today. This was like I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm doing viability testing. I'm looking for easy stuff where I'm just like, this is an easy fix, get it into the queue kind of thing. But yeah, yes. Hearing a pop and died. I should stare real hard to see if anything's gone bang as well. Right, ground. Power is going to be there. No signal at the power button. No signal at the power button. So yeah, it's not ready to turn on. So at this point, let's think. So that's gonna there's power rails that are going to be missing, but I would have to start. Let's see. Standby via. Would 5 VSB be at the power on pins? Surely it'd be lower than that, but then I don't know because again I haven't actually spent a lot of time on ATX boards. It definitely sounds like there's a short or blown component though. I agree with that. I'm going to stick my head under the camera and just stare at it real hard and see if I can spot anything. Ugh. Because if something went pop, there must be something exploded on the board somewhere. I'm trying to bring the camera in so other people can look, but there's not going to be enough detail in this video feed for anyone to see anything. Use the flare cam. That's not a terrible idea, and I agree. Surely it'd be 3.3 volts at the power button, but I'm not 100% certain. Take out CPU and RAM. Yes, you're right. It should power on without CPU and RAM. I need to check the back of the board as well. I also agree about getting the flare out because you never know what you might see. Even though we're not injecting, might be something alive in there. I'm still just currently just looking for physical damage at the moment. For something to go pop, there has to be a reasonable amount of force there. So, not seeing anything. Let's take everything out and try and power it on separate. Thank you. I'm going to have a quick look at the back of the board as well. So let's... There's not a lot on the back of a motherboard. A couple of marks on the back of the PCH there, but nothing telling. Can't see any cause for concern there. Cap standing up under it. Which one and where? How are you
Also,
going to
it's a
flare a
case of-
component popped? Yeah, that's a good point.
But you can also discount parts of the board, like this part is irrelevant to it turning on, because it's all sound, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, unless it's shorting a standby rail, let's straighten this out and let's just beep across a load of stuff. Let's just we'll do some blind stab tests. Stab test, go. Problem is, some of these are going to be low voltage anyway, I feel. Although, again, if something's gone pop, it's probably blown open circuit. So I don't think we're going to see a short. There's not a lot of coils on here. The V-core is not... let's get onto CPU out. I can't imagine it's going to be V-core. Nope. Back of the caps. Right, there's ground on that cap. Just randomly grabbing all of the electrolytic caps at the moment. Oh, hello. Who are you? That's ground anyway. What's that? That's that boy. That's near the PCH. That guy's shorted. What's up with you, man? See, the problem is I don't know ATX layout, so if you ask me what that cap does, I'd have no idea, but I can tell you it's beeping. I'm going to check the actual resistance on it, because beep does not equal short circuit, it means low resistance.
Alright.
Oop, scratch. Oh, I think I just saw 20 ohms. No, that's low resistance. That's PCH power. That's nothing. Oh, I got excited then. For a moment, I thought we had something. That's a bummer. On ATX, standby power is 5, purple 5 volt. Yeah. Check the fuses. Could be it. Reverse polarity. It's, well, yeah, that doesn't matter, does it? We're resistance checking. I mean, I can turn them around. 21. 20. Doesn't matter with resistance. Fuses. Am I going to have to find where the fuses are on this thing? I mean, again, if we were spending time and looking up schematics, I think that I'm getting the feeling that there's a repair in this, because we know that there's a standby rail that's not starting up. There's a fuse. Beep mode again. There we go. No, that's intact. I'm looking for fuses at the moment. There's one. That's probably USB. That's fine. I'm stabbing in the dark at the moment. I need to get serious with this one. However, the fact that there's no power to the power button means that we must be missing one of the standby rails. Check under the heatsink. I'll have a look under there. I don't think this is V-core. I think we'd have standby power if it was a V-core fault. However, it's worth checking, because I've seen, V-core does go bang, so yeah. This, to me, I'm looking at this going, I don't think we're going to solve this one today, but I think there's actually a repair in this. This is potentially a very good candidate for a learning how to fix ATX boards. That looks fine. And everyone looks okay there. I'll just quickly do some beeps on there. But we didn't have a short on vCore, so I'm not expecting to see anything relevant here. Nothing there. Input won't be shorted because we've already checked. And the low sides will have ground on one side and vCore on the other. There's ground. That's vCore. Yeah. So there's nothing to find there. Nothing has visually exploded either. I think this seems to be a missing standby rail to me. I would like to, I think what I would be doing next is, I think the next thing to do on this one is to start with 5VSB coming into the ATX connector and find out where that is going and what it is powering. But I don't know enough about ATX board layouts to do that. I would need to do some more research on that. So, yeah. I mean, we could, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll plug it in and we'll just see if 5VSB is actually making it to the ATX connector. Like, make sure that's not being pulled down by something. We don't actually need that to be plugged in. Actually, plug it in anyway. Right. Power on. Yeah. So, ground. Right, so there's our 5VSB coming into the board. But the problem is I don't know where it goes from here. So that's the issue here, is I don't know where to look after that. So inspect all the rear I/O ports for shorts. USB shorts? Maybe. BIOS power pin? Yeah. Let's see. I can't remember which one that's going to be off the top of my head, so I'm going to do some stabbing. It's going to be one of the corner pins. I think it's going to be you. Nope, in that case, you. 1 volt. That doesn't... That would be low. What's our pin out for the BIOS chip? Pin 1 is in the top right. Yeah, pin 1 is in the top right. We've got 1 volt, and yeah, that's going to be a 1.8 volt chip because it's a WSON 8. And it's a modern WSON 8. So yeah, we've only got 1 volts to the BIOS pin. Pin top left. That was 1 volt as well. And also, the RTC battery was stone flat. Any idea what the resistance to ground would be on the BIOS chip? Just going to unplug the power supply. Did I check for a short on the main power switch connector? No. We've got no power getting there. So I can't see that being an issue, but more information. 100K. That's a pull-up resistor. So yeah, we've got a 100K pull-up across there. Get out. Get out. I've no idea what the resistance should be here. Oh, lots of kilo ohms. 200K. So it's not shorted. What about that one? Yeah, it's not shorted. You go microcam inspection. Yeah. This requires, yeah, this is going to need a careful eye. I don't think this is solvable right now. However, I'm gonna go do more investigations on this one, and because there is definitely I think there's a fix to be found in this one. So what we know is that a standby rail, so one of the power rails that is always on. So when you plug in the power supply and switch on the power supply, one of the standby rails on the motherboard that makes it ready to turn on is not coming on. And there's also, by the looks of things, not enough power getting to the chip. Pin 8 is plus of SPI. Yeah. Where's the power button going? Yes, I think so. I don't know if it goes directly to the green wire of the power supply, but that's essentially what it's doing, yes. No, it does not go directly to the green power supply because to switch on the power supply, you need to keep the green wire low, whereas the power button is momentary. However, there's no power getting to the power button, so that's we're not getting that far. It's somewhere further up the chain. So I think the fact that there's only 1 volt getting to the BIOS chip, that seems to be our biggest hint so far. There's something wrong there. However, I don't think we're going to solve that right now, because the next thing that I need to do is I need to actually go over this with a very, very close eye. I need to put the camera into microscope mode and just systematically go across the board, sector by sector, because if something went pop, there has to be something broken somewhere, and that's going to be the key to this. But that's going to make for very dry viewing. However, I really think that that's something interesting. Was the pop just the chipset heatsink pin snapping? Could have been. It could have been. I don't think that's beyond the realms of imagination. You know, it's a push pin, and so if that came off, and you know, that might have made some kind of pop, but I'm not sure. I didn't hear it. So yeah, blow off the dust. Either way, that's as far as I'm going to go with this one right now, I think. But I'm definitely intrigued by this one. Those DSs look like a dead end. This one, even if this turns out to be a no fix, I think there's a lot to learn from trying to fix this one. And ATX motherboard repair is something that I really want to get into. So I'm going to put this one to one side and I'm going to come back to it. I would say. The Mobo died. The heatsink broke when removing the GPU afterwards. Okay, yeah, fine. Wasn't that then? Hacking screw. Something. Watching someone else fumble with something. Did I test it without RAM installed? No. We'll just quickly do that for good measure, just for the sake of it. But yeah, there's not enough power getting to the BIOS chip. That I think is our biggest lead at the moment. If there's no power getting to the BIOS chip, it ain't gonna start. Nope, nothing. Interesting. Okay. We will meet again. Asus Prime B550MA. Need the schematics, probably. That's where I'm going to start. Is there a clear CMOS clear jumper? There is, and it is open because it's down there, and there's no jumper on it. Good shout though. You never know. Yeah. Okay, that's the end of that one for now.
That's all,
fine,
folks.
Yeah. Right. Yes. I was like, what are you referencing? And I was like, oh yeah, Looney Tunes. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I'm still very tired.
I'm tired.
I know I keep saying it, but now and then my mind's like I finish the sentence that I'm saying and I have to start thinking of another sentence to say, and I'm just like, talking is hard work, man. I'm tired. Check for cracks. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's a very interesting board. I want to look closer at that. I'm not going to do it now because we could easily spend 2 hours doing that on stream. I don't want to do that. But I will be looking again at that board. The main thing I was interested to know is if it had powered on, then we would have carried on with it. But yeah, that's a worth looking at, but not right now. Did I install 11 on my laptop? No, not yet. I still am going to, but I haven't done it yet. Yeah, I need to take the laptop home on a weekend and do it. All right, I can go there. Fine.
You said that for something else as well, and I can't remember what that was.
Neither can I.
Because you were complaining about thing, and then said, "Oh yeah, I need to take my laptop home at some point."
Yeah.
And I'm like, clearly not happened.
Yeah, probably just because I think I was going to upgrade or do some testing on my home PC, and I wanted to have my laptop so I had something else to work on while I was doing testing on my PC.
About the curve optimizer.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Because we were talking about So we a couple of weeks ago
about clock stretching.
That's right. A couple of weeks ago we were talking about clock stretching, and you told me what that was, and I was like, "Ooh, that explains exactly why." No matter how much I overclock my 5800X at home, it doesn't seem to go faster. Because I've used Curve Optimizer to overclock my 5800X at home. However, it doesn't seem to actually make it go faster. And I haven't done scientific testing to enforce that. That's just observations from things like handbrake and that kind of thing.
Also, handbrake seems to have just a maximum throughput speed as well.
That's it. I need to start doing Cinebench runs and things like that at different Curve Optimizer settings to see whether Curve Optimizer is actually working and to what extent. Because it might be that just a little bit will work, but there's just diminishing returns.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah. So yes. No voltage injection. We haven't found a short circuit to inject on. We can't inject if we don't have a short circuit. And we don't have that yet. Did I put the TPM module back in? Yes, I put the TPM module back on the board. So yeah. Right. Let's put that away. Right, okay. We're coming up to the 2 hour marks. Are we going to have a quick look at this? I think we should get the PlayStation 3 out just to turn it on, if nothing else.
Do you know where it is?
Yes, it's down there. And the box with the HP laptop on top of it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So, Postal sent me this PS3 a year ago. I'm really sorry, Postal. And this PS3 needs new... it needs the token caps removing. And I have done token cap removal before.
Right, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, did something fall off? But you couldn't see what? Oh, yeah.
I couldn't. I heard thump. Was that good?
Yeah.
What has thumped?
Jonathan says token cap removal sounds painful. It actually, you're unironically, you're actually closer to the truth than you'd imagine. Token caps are horrifying to remove. It is the most violent thing you've seen. Oh my god, it's a big boy. It's the Spider-Man 3 version. Because that's just the Spider-Man font. God, I forgot how enormous the original PlayStation 3 was.
Was that with that?
Wait. Did you also send me a 4870?
Is this an official Sony controller?
I would say, yeah.
Because, good lord.
Yeah, the PlayStation controllers are weird, man.
Ugh.
Oh wow, that's very light. I mean,
It feels like the finest Chinesian plastic.
Yeah, that's too light, isn't it? Although it's not a wireless controller, I don't think. Is it? I don't know. I don't know my PlayStations very well. I don't know my Game Station pros. Yes,
everything.
you sent the GPU as well. Okay, yeah. It's the OG PS3 controller. Yeah. It's too light. Don't like it. Don't like it. So it doesn't have vibration. Really?
You can see how they had to cut corners.
There we go. Right, I'll stick that in the other box of bits. To look at.
The wasted money of paying for next day Hermes.
Well, it's Hermes, man.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that it paid for next day Hermes and it hasn't been looked at for a year.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is
You
all.
will be.
I still can't get over how chunky this boy is.
Oh god, that is the.
See what I mean?
that
You could
is
kill a
the-
man with this.
That is the
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man font. Isn't it?
Yes, it is. Man, right. So Postal is our PS3 expert. So this is the original day one release. Isn't this a Magic one as well? Isn't this one? Is this one of the Magic? Has the PS2 emulator one in? Ones in as well. It's got a flat too. I don't know what that means. What?
Can you not hear it going da-donk, donk, da-donk?
Well, yeah.
I was just like, oh, that sounds far less secured than.
I mean, it's
I
a
was
big
hoping
chunky
for.
boy in a plastic shell. They kind of do that.
Oh wow, it takes a proper IEC.
Yeah, none of this 8-pin rubbish. HDMI out.
Crikey, it's the roses.
Right. I'm a bit scared of what we're going to see on this. It's going to have some proper 2020 adamant IT memes. I need a mini cable.
Oh, I might have one in my bag.
I was going to say, serious problem. I don't know. Oh, hang on a sec. I found one. Here we go.
Okay.
I've got one. Thanks. For a minute, I was like, I legitimately don't have a cable for the controller. Careful with the blue screw. I don't know if we're going to be taking this apart today. We're just going to power it up first. Because originally I'm supposed to be making a video on the token on how to redo the token caps on this, because as I was saying, I have done token cap removal on one of these before for Postal when he first got into PlayStation Repair. He can actually do it himself now, which is why I shouldn't have sat on this for a year, but whatever. But he sent me this complete one so I could show the complete disassembly and all the rest of it. But this one has been customized. Let's see what it does. Is it turned on?
No, you turned it off.
Well, turn it on. Right, we have a standby. We have a standby light.
Stand by.
Here we go. I'm legitimately concerned as to what we'll see. There's going to be some proper 2020 adamant memes here. I'm ready. If it actually starts, anyway. We've got a green light. It's making whirring noises. Oh, I haven't got the right capture card on. Genius. No! This fucking... I'm getting steadily more annoyed with my Ava Media stuff. It keeps doing this to me. I'm getting... Yeah. I need to figure out what to do about that. Because the Ava Media capture cards keep jamming up for that. Right, what are you? You're going there. Bloody $10 capture card to the rescue again. Add video capture. Give me the cheap one. USB video. Wait, I saw something that was really cool, and then I saw something that I hated.
What?
See, we've got the Snufkin, and then I saw Adam, and now I'm rapidly seeing, then I've just seen who is Lisa Sue. So, I'm tired. This is fine. That's not. It could have been worse. I was legitimately expecting the background just to be a zoom in of my face, like the mug or something like that. Don't use the splitter. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's see. Dies on mode. Probably. Oh, the controller has not connected. It's all the lights on the back are flashing at the moment. What about PlayStation? Oh, there we go. There we go. Reboot it. Okay. It's got a custom boot animation. Ah, okay. Turn off the system. Yes. Right, let's do it again so we get the custom boot animation. But wait, there's more. Face cam on. Oh, standby.
Face cam, turn on.
Right.
You need to put the cap. You need to turn off the live gamer.
Heck.
Oh my god! I thought you were a professional.
You're a professional. Nope, I think that was it. Still, thanks, I hate it. Right. PlayStation. Cool.
What happens if who is Lisa Sue?
Alright. Who is Lisa Sue? There we go. Now we're cruising. Cool. So this what is this is all custom firmware stuff. I don't know what this is, but Postal does. Rebus, yeah. What is Rebus, and what is the custom firmware stuff that we're running here? Like, what is React PSN? So if we go back, so there were two separate users, I assume. If I press the PlayStation button, I actually don't know how to use a PlayStation. Just saying. Oh, I see. There are two separate users. Okay, let's go to Adam. Current user will be logged out. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, we also have Whiteface. Is one of the so is one of these like oh, there we go. Yeah, and that brings us to the same place. Rad. Rebug is just CFW. I don't know what a CFW is either, I'm afraid, but oh, there are the pictures. Here we go. Beautiful. Love it. Okay. Good. Press start and select at the same time. We'll get temperatures. Okay, that sounds cool. Is that appearing in the top right by any chance? Oh, hang on a sec. Let's go back to the beginning. Is that appearing behind us? Wrong one. That one. There we go. Top right. Aha, there we go. So we've now got so CPU and RSX. Oh, it only appears for a moment.
Huh.
Yeah. So CPU 56 degrees, RSX, which is the GPU, I think? Or is that like a PCH? I don't know my PlayStations very well. Was that like 40s? This thing has not been turned on in a while, so everything is stone cold. So the theory is that if we actually... This controller just died.
Apparently its battery is charging.
Does it even have a battery? It feels too light to have a battery.
No, when you hit that, see there's a battery charging icon.
Yeah. Oh, it is wireless then.
Hold the 2 and something will beep.
Hold the 2 and something will beep.
Do you mean select and start by hold the 2?
Yeah. Oh, hold the 2 until it beeps. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me move our faces so we're not in the way of this. Let's go down here. There we go. It beeped. Oh, there we go. Now it's staying on screen. Yeah, there we go.
Huh.
Cool. Right, so... yeah, we'd have to run something up on this to replicate it, but theoretically this thing yellow lights and then dies at random. So is there something that we can do that will that will replicate that? If you go to Webman mod, okay, let's go.
Oh boy, there is
Webman mod.
There is indeed a level of warm air.
Really? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's surprising. Considering it's not doing anything, it is actually belting out warm air. You did put a game on it. Cool. Rebus. Did it just power cycle? Oh, that's the installer. Okay. Well, that's what it did. Let's try it again. No. Do you really have to press the PlayStation button every time these things turn on to make the controller light up again?
Webman Games.
Right, what does this say? Hold down L1 for full edition, X for light edition. Okay, let's do L1 then, I guess. The game is under Webman Games. Aha. Sonic. Oh no. Actually, no. Sonic Generations. That's okay. I'm on board with that. For a moment, I saw a Sonic game and I was like, oh no, this is going to be terrible. Sonic Generations I can deal with though. Yeah, boys, I'm sitting down for this. Sonic Generations actually isn't awful. I'm ready.
Sonic Generations! All I think of is the advertising media for Star Trek Generations.
Was that all just like, Star Trek Generations? Then?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Its rebug looks like the CPU is overheating. It probably will be. Potentially anyway. Yeah! Generations, okay. So if I hold down select and start until it beeps. Aha, there we go. So what temperatures are normal for this? What are we expecting to see? So it's 67.54 at the moment. Because I seem to remember these things, yeah, I was going to say, I seem to remember that these things are happy up to really high temperatures, you said, didn't you? And like, those kind of temperatures should be perfectly normal. This data was created by a different user. Okay, I don't care, man. Let's do continue. Let's see how far the game progress is for this. Loading. CPU is happy, but the GPU is not. All right. Well, it's running. I'm going to head back to Green Hill Zone. Oh man, I've got about 10,000 days of input lag on this capture card. This isn't a good experience. The City Escape. Green Hill, where's Green Hill?
Rolling around at the speed of sound.
Yeah, that's right. Ah, here we go. Green Hill. Can we have, let's see. Classic. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. To stage. So the frame rates that you'll be seeing are not representative of the game because this capture card is garbage.
However, it's also a PlayStation game, therefore it probably actually is that frame rate.
I hope not. But the fact is, we're just basically looking to see if the thing conks out or not. That's what we're waiting to see. Like in an ideal world, we want the thing to fall over and give us the whole yellow light. That's what we're expecting, or that's what we want to see. The temperatures are still going up.
The fan speed is not.
Yeah, is the fan locks out? Someone did ask that. Shut off is at 90. Oh, there we go. The fan just kicked up.
There was fan.
Yeah, the fan just audibly kicked up. Considering that went from 20 to 25%, that was a very audible difference, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm holding right to win at the moment. Modern Sonic is terrible, man. Mania is the best. Ah! Mania is the best Sonic. End of discussion.
My rings.
Can I D-pad this? I think, yeah. Oh no, it's the input lag. That's what's doing it to me. Honest Gov, it's the input lag. It's not me. How are we doing? 72, 65. So yeah, it's kind of a passive fan curve, really. It's just not aiming for super low temperatures. 72, 65 still. It's just holding. Ow! Heck. You should set the fan to 100% after this. It's amazingly loud. Do we have to? Oh, that'll do. I've made it. Two guys play games. Maybe. I'm going to do like one... Heck off. I'm going to do like one level, I think, and then I will probably say... okay, it hasn't failed on us yet, but we've got it out, we've started it up, and we did it on stream so we could see the memes. That means I can actually start recording a video about this thing now. So, because that's kind of been the problem, is that it got put to one side. I didn't work on it, and then it got put to one side because Caradog and Postal were just like, oh no, you got to turn it on stream so we can see the memes. And so that was just like, okay, that means I'm still not going to make a video on it then. However, now we've actually got this out and started it up, I can be like, okay, I will actually work on this thing now. Ducking, how are we doing? 7164. Those temperatures seem to be holding, but this is probably not the most taxing game in the world either. Certainly not for a PS3 anyway.
I don't know, based off of the quality of Sonic games.
yeah, maybe.
Using 100% of resources to get 4 FPS.
That's true. This is probably a Xbox port to the PlayStation, a 360 port. Because my understanding is like most PS3 games were just Xbox emulators, unless I'm mistaken. Like, someone needs to be able to confirm. It needs a game like Uncharted to really tax it. Yeah. Let's continue. I'll do a modern stage, which I'm going to hate because I greatly dislike modern Sonic. Especially when it's just boost to victory, but that might be a bit more intensive. Has it been cleaned yet? Yeah, well, this thing has been delidded and repasted, so theoretically it should be fine. We're waiting for it to we're waiting for it to lock up because of the token caps. So theoretically, there should be not enough capacitance on the V-core stages to properly keep the chips stable. And the idea is that we would be replacing those token caps with tantalums, which obviously tantalums aren't great either, but they're better than token caps. So yeah, that's the idea of what we would be doing. Boost to the end of the level now. This is why modern Sonic is bad, because you hold down boost and the game plays itself for you. And it's basically a title sequence. Still holding boost. Still holding boost. Etc. Take a look at the PSX forum threads on Token and Syscon Diaglot thread. Yeah, I've looked at all of those before, because as I say, I've done this before on another one from Postal. But as I say, I'm just kind of hoping for reproduction steps here. I'm just kind of hoping that it's going to fall over on us so we can be like, there we go, there's the yellow light of death. That's exactly what we're here to fix. Because, like, I don't need reproductive steps just to do it anyway. I could just... Woo! Amazing! We can just replace those caps anyway and be like, there we go, we've done it. That was the objective. But it would be nice if we can reproduce the fault and then have the fault not occur after replacing the caps to prove that that has fixed the problem. That's what I'm after, basically. But I don't think this is going to fall over for us now, probably just because this thing hasn't been run in such a long time. And generally speaking, if you leave things, if you leave stuff idle for a very long time, the chances are it's going to come good. Or it might do anyway. That's certainly the case with capacitors and that kind of thing. Circle? Oh, hey, I found the circle button. This might be the first time I've actually played on a PlayStation in quite a number of years.
You know, the worst part is saying, oh, I haven't played on a PlayStation for 20 years still only takes you back to a PS2.
You shut your mouth. Yeah. I actually thought I was going to get hold of a... Oh, my word. No, did I die? Oh, that's embarrassing. I actually thought I was going to get hold of PS4 to play some PS4 exclusives. But now, basically, I wanted to play God of War. But now God of War is coming to PC. I don't need to do that anymore. I'll just play the PC version at higher graphics and higher frame rate, most likely. I'm going to hold boost to victory now because I'm really not paying attention here. I actually have to concentrate on this area. Okay. I actually have to play the game. X, boost. There we go. See, I can play Sonic. X. There we go. I know
Here we
Sargnut.
go.
Oh, do the thing. Combos. Finish. Oh, I didn't get the finisher. Oh, I also went through the spikes. That's also bad. Don't go through the spikes. I don't think this thing is going to crash for us today. What I need to do is leave this thing switched on and just sitting on. I need to just leave it on literally all day and burn it in. And if we burn it in and then try and play a game on it, then it's going to fall over. That's my guess. Whoop. Can we get to the end of the level now? This level has been dragging. I think we're close.
At least it's not the whichever Sonic game you played most recently.
Oh, Forces, yeah.
Where each level was 1 minute long.
Forces was such a disappointment, man.
It was like each level was 1 minute long and there were 14 levels.
Yeah. Sonic Forces could have been good. I didn't hate Sonic Forces. I just hated that the levels were literally 1.5 minutes long.
And it was 1.5 minutes of holding boost.
Yeah. Like, just as the level was starting to get going, and I was just like, yeah, I'm starting to have fun. Oh, that's the end of the level. Okay. Next level starts. Just as you're beginning to have fun, the level is over. And you're like... Missed opportunity, man. Forces was such a missed opportunity. So, yeah. How's it doing? I mean, it's fine, actually. You know, there's warm air coming out the back, but it's a computer. They do that. So, yeah.
Detach this cover when removing the hard disk. Okay.
Yeah, user accessible hard drives. Yeah, okay. So, they get ear-shatteringly loud at 100%. Okay, yeah, let's do that then, and then we'll call it a day.
How does one set it to 100%?
How do we make it do the stupid thing? I don't know how to exit the game either. Quit game. That'll do it. Yes, I want to quit the game. How do 100% fans... I'm trying to quit the game. There we go. Right. I'll go back to... I'll sit there. And go to Webman Games again. Okay. Webman Games. Then PS3. Nope. This is most of you using watching Sonic stuff on 2x catch up. Webman setup. Oh yeah. And then PS3 Webman setup, I'm assuming. Just seeing what else is in here while I'm waiting. Webman setup again. Okay. Whoop. Ooh, okay. Tweak this is going. Let's see. Refresh games files. Oh man, this is a bad experience. Right, where am I going to? Setup, I'm guessing. I'm gonna have a look in setup. I think that's where I was. Setup again. I might need to actually maximize my preview so I can see what I'm doing a bit better. Because I'm squinting hardcore. Alright, that's slightly less awful. Right. Oh, it's there for the fan speed. Oh, yeah, there it is. So, manual fan speed. So, should I set the lowest or should I just go manual? On the right side. Okay.
Oh, God, I can barely read that.
Yeah, big same. This is very difficult to read. Backspace is square. All right, here we go. I don't know if you guys can hear the fan at all at the moment, but we're about to go mad. Here we go. That's done. Using the D-pad for this is much better. I'll save that. Oh, you have to restart. Okay, in that case, I'll set the manual as well then. Nope, I've got to do that. Okay, we'll restart. I think I fucked it up. But we'll find out in a moment. I didn't enable the speeds. Sorry, I was treating this like a. I was treating it like a BIOS one where you set a minimum speed and that's the minimum speed it'll do. I'll go in again. The bloody controller. Okay, there we go. No offense, but this is making me dislike PS3s. Right, okay, Webman Games, Webman Setup, Webman Setup. This is literally the first time in my defense, this is the first time I've ever used a PlayStation 3, and obviously the first time I've looked at any of this. Enable dynamic fan control, so is that what we need? I assumed that was already have been turned on, you see. Okay, so let's manual. I take it was just under system fan control at that point then. Start, enter. There we go. It's not terrible. Like, that's pretty loud.
I just find it hilarious that the fan by default is never set to go above something like 26%.
Yeah. Like, that's pretty good. However, also, that's a very effective fan, isn't it? Like, blowing a lot of air.
Yeah. Where is it in from?
Front.
All front
Yeah.
intake? Really?
Yeah.
So I was half expecting it to be bottom intake.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. Oh, man, we've got to restart it now, I think. Right, stand by. That draws like 3 amps. Oh no. What's that? Is that like a cover for something or something?
I don't know. Well, it kind of.
Bear with us, everyone.
It kind of looked like it slid down.
Ah, okay. Let's see temps now. Alright, hang on a sec. I'm going to move the microphone. Oh, yeah.
Fan is 94%, still at 52 sin. It's a wonderfully inefficient heating system.
Yeah, it will probably be lower.
Eventually.
Yeah, like if we were playing a game, we would probably see the temperatures being lower under load. I think is the thing there. Right, I'm going to go ahead and turn that down again. So, Webman Games, Webman Setup. Go. No, don't scan for content. There we go. Turn that down. I'm just going to change this again just to back what it was, even though that's not actually what's doing anything here. I'm just going to set that back to a sensible value again. All right. Now we can hear the chair squeaking again. Well, that was exciting. You can control the things from a web interface on your PC. That's kind of cool, actually. I'll give you that. MSense is the company that Meta's logo is identical to. Fair enough. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Search for the hero inside yourself.
Where did that come from?
I heard M-Sense and then went, oh, M people.
M people. Now there's a band or a group that I have not heard of in a very long time. Anyway, okay, right. I am plumb tuckered out, and
Maybe you should have had less plum tuckers.
I'm tired, and we've had a stream of me complaining about being tired, for which I apologise. However, we are going to wrap up now. So we ended up not actually fixing anything, but that's kind of what I expected. But yeah. I expect you should have plugged in the mouse to do the controls. That might have been a good thing. The most exciting thing about PS3 is max fan speed. Oh no. Well, I mean,
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. So I am still actually going to make the video about this though, because As I said, I reckon if I leave that on all day and then try and run games on it again, we'll actually be able to reproduce a fault with that. And then once I've had the yellow light on it, I can then go, cool, now we're going to replace the token caps. And I can show off that, which will be sort of a curiosity thing. Like, again, I'm not a console repair channel, but it'll be an interesting thing to do and just to show people what token caps are, because token caps are a really weird component that around this period of time were all the rage, and then they turned out to be a bit shit, really, and now no one uses them. Cider and pizza time, you might be right. So yeah, as I say, there will be more of that at some point. So yeah, the motherboard also was kind of interesting. There's some mileage in that motherboard, I think. So we might be seeing more of that again. The DSs, I'm kicking those back out the door. I can't be. Those DSs are going to be a waste of time. Just buy some more secondhand ones, man. Forget about those. Taking the PS3 apart should be fun too. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that bit, but I'll find a way. I'll make it happen.
Find his lump hammer.
PS3's got excellent emulation. Yeah. Fair enough. Right. I think that's it. I'm just back reading the chat to see if there's anything else interesting. 2 future videos out of today. Maybe, yeah. We'll see. Both of them are videos which I kind of are like sort of, oof, these are going to be hassle, these videos. But again, they're kind of, it's something a bit different, which is what's interesting sometimes. Fun fact, same tokens from Toshiba laptops. They were using them in laptops. But why? I can understand using them in... yeah, I suppose. Because the idea is that they provided a very high amount of capacitance with low ESR in a small form factor, or rather a single package form factor, which would be attractive for laptops. But they die is the issue. Yeah. Plans for next week's stream? I'm not sure. Caradog, you're not here next week, are you?
No.
Nope. You're away gallivanting with the Spreadsheet Enthusiast Club. So yeah. I'll probably be doing something next week. I don't know what it is. I'll probably find something to do and do it. I'm not going to solo a talk show because that'll be a bit dry. I might see if I can get a soldering kit in or something like that. That'd be cool. So yeah, do I get any business from Meta? I don't know what Meta do yet, is the thing there. So yeah. No clue there, I'm afraid. But yes, we'll see. You don't see many ATX repair videos. Yeah, there is a scene for ATX board repair, and the problem is it's not viable in the majority of cases. Well, it could be though. That's the thing, because half decent motherboards are £150 plus. So if you can,
yeah, but then what's the time to fix the fault?
Yeah, sure. I suppose
if it's anything more than a busted cap,
yeah,
the time to a short on a major power rail, the time to find it.
Yeah,
it's then a case of, or I could just buy a new motherboard for £100.
Yeah, possibly. I think the idea is it's training for when you come across exotic boards like £300 plus motherboards, and like if it takes you an after. It might not be viable to do on the clock, but for buying and selling, like I still need to do my practice run for socket replacement. I've got an AM3 socket here that I bought, and I'm going to butcher one of my AM3 motherboards and try and put a new socket on it. That's going to be my practice run for socket replacements, because again, if you can do that, yes, it's not viable per se, but I can start looking on eBay. If I've got some practice for doing socket replacements, I can look on eBay for motherboards that have got wrecked CPU sockets and try and do a replacement. Although that much being said, the issue there is that there's a few too many boards out there where they've got bent pins in the socket, and you get that feeling that the person who broke the motherboard deliberately bent some CPU pins to make people think it was fixable, when actually it's probably a complete rabbit hole no fix. And they bent some CPU's pins just so some people would look at that and be like, oh, that's just some bent pins. I could fix that. So we'll see. I don't know. I want to get into BGA stuff. We'll see. You made the intro animation say who was Lisa Sue. Oh, I see. We had no audio. Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, modded toaster. Yeah.
Isn't that just a GTX 480?
Probably. I was on the AMD scene around that period, so I don't know how awful the 4 and 500 the Fermi era was.
It was reasonably warm.
But then aren't the modern ones these days as well? But yeah. Anyway, we're out. I'm leaving. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll be back. I'll be back next week. He won't.
I'll be back
In 2 weeks.
some point in the future.
Yep.
You never know. Your luck.
Yep. I'm going to quit because I've run out of things to say. I'm leaving. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye. Back next week with something. Shockingly valuable MOBAs sold cheap, which are used for mining. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, my throat is dying as well.
Okay, good night. Farewell. Au revoir.
Bye.
Goodbye.